Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
So, how are you all in the morning? It's a little bit early session we have organized today. Hope you all are set for learning more today. Our expert is joining us, so we'll take 5 more minutes to start the session. Meanwhile, just if anyone have any question, this session we usually organize for an SME related to the industry. So whatever doubts you will be having at the end of the session, you can ask by raising your hand or put the question in the chat box. So this is how the session will go on. Also, we will circulate a feedback form. So you all have to fill that feedback form. Also ask your friends to join the session so they can also get some learning from the topic that we are going to discuss today.
Hi everyone, Rashmi.
Hi Akash, good morning.
Yeah, good morning everyone. Yeah, sorry for being late. I had a work call.
No, we are on time. Just 2-3 minutes we are late.
Okay,
So
fine. We are still people coming in. Shall we wait or shall we proceed?
no, we can start. I'm just giving a brief about you.
Okay.
So good morning, everyone. Once again, all of you know about the Tata Stripe keeps organizing SME sessions with industry leaders to share their knowledge and learnings with us. So today, continuing the same endeavor we have with Mr. Akash, who is a senior developer and data scientist in TCS. And today's session with the topic of data science and machine learning. Akash will share the knowledge and experience with you all, and whatever skills required to be an effective technical expert you can grab from him. And about Akash, he's having the 13+ year experience in IT industry in data analytics, IT support, project, and service management, and is currently working as a senior developer and data scientist in Google business unit in TCS. He also experienced in taking multiple SME sessions for both experienced and college professionals in the field of Python, data science, machine learning, and business analytics problems as well. So, Akash, we are honored to and grateful that you are here with us to take a session with our learners. And we are eagerly waiting to grab the learnings and the experience with the knowledge and the session you can share with us.
Okay.
So, the quote is yours. Students, please put your mic on mute until the presentation will be over from our expert. At the end of the session, we will take all the questions, all the queries, whatever you have. So, Akash, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashmi. Thanks for such nice words. I hope I'm audible clearly, or is there any echo or something?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Fine. Fine. So hello everyone. My name is Aakash Sain, and like Rashmi has already given an introduction about my profile. Just to let everyone know, I'm working as a data scientist in TCS and Google Business Unit, and I have experience of around 15+ years, and I've been working in multiple domains for the past 10 years or so. I have started as an analyst. And then worked up my chain to different profiles. I worked in operations, I worked in project management, service management, and currently I'm a senior developer, lead in a Google Business Unit. I'm also working on Microsoft Azure. Okay. So this session, which I am going to take today is for machine learning operations. Okay, but going on to that, before going on to that, I have few things which I would like to ask from everyone. You can like answer by raising your hands. Okay. So these Tata Strive sessions are basically for guiding people, guiding college students, and guiding freshers how to choose the profession, and in order to help them to decide and to leverage what other resources present in the market, and decide accordingly. Okay. So today I'll be going about learning machine learning operations. So there would be a lot of people, a lot of students who already would have gone through multiple data science courses. Okay, and earlier there were only few institutes who would use to give data science classes, but now I think it's more like everyone is a data science trainer, and there are so many institutes around. But again, there is a problem. This is a problem of plenty. Okay, the problem of plenty means that we have so much information, we don't know what is right and what is wrong. And in order to pick out the right things from this plethora of information, it's very difficult, because time is of an essence. We have so many resources, yet I don't think that people are confident that about the technology, because earlier we used to follow one or two things or three things in our technology career, or we will follow some people or some institutes, but everyone is going through different set of learning, and people have different set of understanding. So what I'm trying to say is that what is being portrayed to someone who joins, let's say, data science internship program, or let's say a program which is being organized by any organization. So they have some preconceived notions that how we will be studying, like what will be the work when we'll go to the organization. Okay, will it be a simple Jupyter notebook, or let's say a Python ID we'll be using, and we'll be getting data in Excel, and we'll do some data cleaning, find some missing values, and that's it. We are good to go. That's the profile. Unfortunately, that's a big no. Okay, because the organization, they work in an altogether a different scenario. You don't get these kind of things where you will be basically going through an Excel sheet and cleaning the data and then formulating a problem. If you would have gone through, let's say, 4 years or 5 years back, this may have been a scenario where people would have given you some Excel and tried to formulate a data science problem. But since it's been a long time, now the data science has been accepted. Machine learning, AI has been accepted, like with the rise of AI chatbots like ChatGPT and everything. So this is now a well-accepted technology. So when you say well-accepted technology, it is more like in 2023, you are telling someone how to use a smartphone, right? That is way too old for someone now to how to use a smartphone. So again, that is, we have to adapt over time with respect to what we are learning and about what we are training for. Most of the courses which are in the market right now, they mostly focus about a few things only. I would say a handful of 10 to 20%. Very few courses are there, or very few organizations are there who actually take you from an end-to-end project. Even end-to-end projects, people will tell you end-to-end projects. But again, in the name of end-to-end projects, you'll find a 2 to 3 hours video or 4 video on a, let's say, a YouTube channel or any other platform where someone will take you through a project, okay, and give you one problem. But again, the ultimate problem lies in the fact that what they are telling you versus what is present in the organization is entirely different. Entirely different. Okay. MLOps is the topic which I wanted to discuss because I think most of the learners or the students, they are not aware how the things actually unfold. So what we see as a problem statement in a Jupyter notebook, and we try to formulate, and let's say we use a linear regression or a logistic regression algorithm to do it. But again, the output We are like sometimes we are calculating the accuracy, or sometimes we are creating a pickle file. That's it. The least we do is the maximum we do is create a pickle file. Beyond that, we do not use it. But I'm presuming a lot of people are from data science background, okay, or are pursuing data science, because this ML ops actually mostly targets the data analytics and data science field. Okay, if someone is not from this field, okay, you can unmute yourself and tell me. Okay, I'll be happy to give you a background. Okay, and still, anyways, I'll just give a background for anyone who is not from the domain. So, data science basically is all about automating or mimicking the human mind. Okay, so what we used to do through our minds actually has to be done by the machines. Let's say, for example, we read a piece of paper, okay, and we just copy paste it, or we extract some information by reading it. But if the same task is being done by a machine, that's data science. As simple as that. In order to do these, there are various stages, like where you get the data. Like, for example, if you take a human being, and I'll just draw a parallel conclusion. Okay, parallel conclusion is like, there is a book. Okay, I get it from a library and start reading it, and someone writes it. It's a simple task. Finding a book in the library, reading it, and translating it to someone who will just note them in their diary. So in machine learning, let's say this is text to speech conversion. Okay, I'm drawing a parallel line between both of them. So when I take a book from the library, start reading it, and when I start reading it, someone hears it and maybe take down the notes or just hear it. So let's say this is a text to speech translation. So when I talk about library, the first step is I go to a library, or let's say somewhere, anywhere, a bookshop or anywhere, and I find a book. Similarly, on the parallel side, Google spaces, like, you give an input data. Okay, so library here, input data can be anything. Like, let's say you have a piece of text in some language, okay, and you are using it for, let's say, for blind people or someone who can't read a particular language. So that piece of text is a kind of library for you. Now it can be a simple text. It can be stored in your computer, in your hard disk. It can be stored on a server, a SQL server, or a Hadoop server, or anywhere in a big data format. Second thing is, in library, when I get a book, I may have to search what I am looking for. Like, for example, it's obviously a book is a very big book. I do not have to translate everything. So I'll have to go to a particular chapter, a particular line, few paragraphs I have to figure out. If there are so many mistakes or anything. So in my mind, I know what those mistakes are. So while speaking, I take care of everything because I know how to read. Similarly, a Google Translator or anything, it is being taught how to read by giving it these kind of pages, following ML algorithms multiple times. And the process of this going through multiple times, reading it, is basically cleaning the data, going through it again and again. So in a parallel world, I myself reading a book or a piece of text is parallel to someone using a Google text translator and using that text to translate it. Now, if you look at me or anyone as a human being, we are being taught from our childhood, right? We start from A, B, C, D, then we try to learn sentences, English grammar, and then after some time we are, let's say, at a particular age, depending upon person to person these days, we start reading out sentences, paragraphs, and so on. But we have been trained by our parents, by our teachers, by schools, everyone. Similarly, on the machine learning side, it also has to be trained. But what is the need? Why do we need machines if we are already there? The problem is we have some limitations. Humans have some limitations that we can, let's say, with our energies, we can, let's say, only read for 1 hour or 2 hours. Okay, we are humans. We have other things as well to do. We have certain levels of energy. We cannot match machines. Similarly, but on the Google side, or let's say on any text translation side, it's a simple machine. You keep the power on, and it will go on. You won't have to stop. So AI basically came into picture to automate tasks which were being done by human, repetitive tasks, or the tasks which require a lot of power or which took a lot of time. Okay. So when I was talking about text to speech conversion, so normally what we'll do is we'll go to a Google or any text to translation website, and we'll just paste the text, okay, and it will give you as an output, right? But if someone looks at it from the perspective that as a data scientist, or let's say a data analyst, or sometimes a learning data science professional, what we all get is a Python ID, PyCharm, Jupyter, Google Colab, or Kaggle, or anything. But we basically use coding, right? And we use a set of code to do everything. But when we are using Google or Google Chrome or anything to convert whatever we need, let's say we are using a picture, tagging a picture for the location, or let's say we are extracting text from an image, or we are doing any sort of mechanism or functionality through the internet on an application. So what we are trying to do is we have one entire application, right? That application is fixed. You do not have to you do not expect someone to use directly to have a Jupyter notebook and go through it code by code and then form an output, right? No. We as developers have this responsibility to make everything invisible except the user interface. Okay. So when these things go in real-time domain, they basically are being launched as an application with multiple APIs. APIs are application programming interfaces. Okay. So one application may cater to multiple things. Let's say, for example, Amazon or Myntra. Okay. In Amazon, this is a very big application. Amazon can be used for multiple purposes, right? Amazon can be used for shopping. It can be used for paying bills. It can be used for recharging your mobiles. It can also be used for ordering your food and multiple other things. But again, if you look at it, it's one entire application, but different functionalities. And what happens is every day things keep changing, right? Let's say there is a sale after 10 days, or there's a new product in the market. Let's say Apple launched an iPhone, right? So if Apple launched an iPhone, if it was launched at morning 7 a.m., so Amazon is expected that it will start showing that iPhone on its website. Now compare it with a normal machine learning algorithm. What we normally do is we get the data, we clean the data, do data manipulation. We find an algorithm, suit the data, and build a model around it. We use test data, we do data validation, and we produce an output. That's it. We just get some test data and we give the results, right? And that's it, done for us. But in the real time, it is not the scenario. In real time, you need the data constantly. Let's say you may need to add more test data. Let's say you did training on 1,000 formats, but let's say after 30 days, there are another 1,000 new formats to be trained or new data to be trained for the machine to learn. For example, like human beings, if there's a new technology or new certification in the market, we all have to go through the training. Like, for example, Google launches a set of certifications in AI on ML, or Microsoft launches, or let's say Azure, AWS launches. We have to undergo that, right? On a similar note, every application, everything has to go through changes, day-to-day changes. Since it's the production environment, okay. Now, what is production environment? Every application goes from multiple stages: development, testing, and production. These are basically the phases. I'm not opening any PPT or anything. If you guys want, I can open it and go through it. But I will take it up, let's say, after 5-7 minutes or so. Okay. To just take you through it. But just hear me out. I'm narrating it like a story. Trying to, if you're able to understand this, please ping or just input your comments. Okay. So earlier, what used to happen? I'll start go back to let's say 10 years back. Okay. So just an advice for everyone. Whenever you want to understand something or someone, whenever you want to explain something to someone, make sure you start from the root. Do not tell them what is working right now. Just tell them how the things unfolded. Let's say, like for example, we learn human evolution. So we go through from early ages, like Stone Age, then what happened to the man and so on. So we are able to follow it. Similarly, while understanding any concept, see where it has come from the ground. What is the difference? Because earlier things used to be very simple. So if you start understanding things from the simple concept, it will be easy to grab. So I'll give you an example. So earlier, what used to happen was there's 10 lines of code. Those 10 lines of code are being developed by a developer, right? Where did that 10 line of code came from? Me as an organization will go to a customer, or customer will come to me and ask me to develop a software or an application for them. Okay, they want me to develop an application which reads a scanned document, which takes in input as a scanned document and translate the text in the document into speech, or let's say stores that text into some format, let's say in an Excel. Like for example, you do scanning of your PAN card or Aadhaar card, let's say. We provide images, right? Sometimes people ask us that give the soft copy of your Aadhaar, let's say the hotels, or let's say we want to get our documents submitted in any of the offices, in document or in passport office or anything. So they'll take the image. But if someone is sitting there and he has to note down everything, but just by looking at the image, that's a tedious task, right? So what used to happen earlier was someone will come and tell you that I want to develop an application. So what you will do is you will take the input. Okay, what is the requirement? You do the requirement gathering. There are multiple stages. So you do the requirement gathering, understand the requirements, and then after understanding the requirement, your developers start writing a piece of code, right? Once they have written the code, they will go for testing. While doing testing, there will be some bugs. Obviously, no code is a perfect code. Never. Even the people from Google or top shots companies are not able to write the code in the first instance. Okay. So when you test a code, you find multiple bugs in the code, and you see that, oh, that is the problem. Now those bugs can be due to anything. It can be your manual error. It can be an automated error. Anything. So there are two ways. So coding took, let's say, 15 days, and after 15 days, you started doing testing. Okay. So after 15 days, you started doing testing, and you came across a problem that, oh, the problem is that my code is not correct. So what I need to do is testing starts after 15 days. You go back again to the coding phase, then again take 5 days, again testing starts. So you have taken approximately 21 days, but still, if someone will ask you, what is the output? No output. Obviously, no output. So now what is happening is, so what they came up with, there are different ways, agile ways or different lean methodology and all. So what they do is, they did not develop an entire application at one go. Rather, what they do is they develop an application in multiple parts. Okay. When you start developing an application in multiple parts, you write 5 pieces of code. From the same team, someone will start doing testing. Now, earlier developers and testers were different teams, operations team and developer teams. But now everything has been combined. That is called as DevOps team. Now you'll be wondering why I am talking about what is this DevOps and everything. So what happens in production environment when I told you something about Amazon? So Amazon website, obviously it keeps on growing. New products being added, new things being displayed. Everything is done on a constant basis. It is not like that an application is launched and after 15 days something new will come up. No, it's updated continuously. So in order to do that, you need people who keep coding and you need people who keep testing. But let's say if I give you someone who can code and test at the same time, that's a big advantage. Like you keep training your models and you keep checking the output and you keep checking the accuracy. And if you see a dip in the accuracy, you train the model again. So in production environment, when I say production environment means your product is developed and is being used by someone. Okay, when a product is being used by someone, that is called as a production environment. That someone is the customer, the end user. Okay, but you can't tell end user to stop. Sir, please stop. I think we need to add something to the website. So our website would be down for 3 hours. Okay, and then we will add the product, and after 3 hours you can access. But there is no guarantee that within 3 hours we'll be able to add that new product. So please wait. That is not an option these days. So you need someone working on the back end and front end. That is from the UI side and from the backend side to keep working continuously and keep testing the application and optimizing the application. So there are various things in the market which keeps on helping in these stuff. For example, cloud solutions, DevOps solution. So DevOps is a kind of solution which is being offered by companies like Google, Microsoft Azure, AWS, which helps to streamline these things, which helps to take the code and test it at the same time using an infrastructure which is very robust. Earlier, you would train a model and into a local or let's say somewhere, but now you can keep retraining and refining your model and at the same time give that output in production as well. Okay, so when you do the deployment of any machine learning model, you actually have to make sure that it keeps working fine and it keeps on updating. Okay, now I will try to present my screen. Let me show when you can see. I hope it's Rashmi, can you confirm if it's visible?
Yes, Akash, it's visible now.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So you can see what is MLOps. This is taken from internet, guys. Nothing I have prepared on my own. Okay, because everything is available on internet. So if someone tells you they have prepared it on their own, obviously they're lying. Okay, so go to internet. You can find multiple resources, but try to trust good resources. Like for example, there are multiple things like Kaggle or Analytics Vidya, or let's say the Simply Learn, Upgrade, everything. There are some institutes, Great Lakes and all, which have some good content. Do not just go to every blog and start trusting someone, or just do not go to any YouTube channel or someone who has posted a 15-minute video. That is not the case. Okay, try to trust your source. Okay, what is MLOps? MLOps stands for machine learning operations. MLOps is a core function of ML engineering focused on streamlining the process of taking ML models to production and then maintaining and monitoring them. If you look at this diagram, so whatever I have talked till now actually is confined to this diagram. So you do data preparation, you do development, you train the model, you review the model, you deploy it. Then you get some inferences, you see the data. Again, keep on monitoring the performance. Monitoring the performance means if something new comes up in the market, you have to update it. Like a simple example would be, I started using, let's say I developed an application which will take Aadhaar card or any format, let's say driving licenses and a scanned driving license, I can take out the information, name of the person, date of birth, their address and everything. Let's say it is being used by traffic police department. So as soon as they scan it, they are able to fetch the details, which is visible. But that application, let's say, is being used by a particular state traffic police, and then an application is being developed by, let's say, TCS is developing that application. Then again, they get an order from other organization, from other state, that we also want to develop an application like this. Obviously, if you already have an application that is catering the similar response, what do you need to do? You don't need to develop a separate application. You just need to add some training data. Everything else remains the same. The data changes, and it keeps changing. So tomorrow, if the department tries to update the license, let's say they make it more colorful, they added more information, or they kept it short, it means the data is changing in the backend. So if the data is changing in the backend, obviously your ML algorithm will not work in the front end. You have to keep updating it. ML ops is all about that, because if you do not update it, and if someone gets a new format in the background, you won't be able to extract the data from that. Okay. Why do we need ML ops? Okay. Production of machine learning is difficult. The machine learning lifecycle consists of many complex components such as data ingestion, data preparation, model training, model tuning. Model tuning means hyperparameter tuning, model deployment, monitoring, and much more. It also requires collaboration and hands-off across the team, from data engineering to data science to ML engineering. Okay. So guys, just one more thing. I'm not sure like if someone attended my previous lecture or not. If you have not, there are various stages of a data science life cycle. Data engineering, data cleaning, data analysis, data science, and ML ops, or machine learning operations. So when you are looking out for career in data science field, do not expect every company will come and tell you to create an ML model for them. That's a very simple thought. It does not happen like this, because companies have an entire end-to-end application process where they develop the application, but the application has multiple stages. When you say data engineering basically refers to taking the data from the source. Source can be somewhere within your premises, on customer premises, or on cloud, shared cloud, private cloud, anywhere. Someone from a data engineering background. So if say you're a fresher, someone tells you that the interviews for data scientist, make sure you ask that person, what is the job role? Focus on the job role. If job roles tells you more about extracting the data from the servers, cleaning the data, it's basically more on the data engineering side. If job role tells you about using the algorithms or writing the algorithms or a hyperparameter tuning, it's more of the data scientist profile. If job role tells you about finding the insight, let's say using Power BI, let's say using Tableau, it's a data analyst role. But if job role tells you about using DevOps or using Azure, Kubernetes, Docker and all, that is about ML ops. So these are different stages, and companies have different positions for these stages. But honestly speaking, there is a very little margin of separation between them. Most of the hiring team are not aware about this. They are non-technical people. But since we are being technical side, on the technical side, we have to be smart enough to decide on what role we are preparing. We need to customize our resumes accordingly and prepare accordingly. So if someone tells on their resume, I'm a data scientist, you are expected to know data science algorithms. When I take some interviews, a lot of people come to me saying that I am a data scientist, or I have learned data science. But as soon as I start asking questions from algorithms, they say that, sorry, I forgot, or I learned them long while back. No, that is not the case. Whenever you go for an interview, you have to be sure that whatever is written on your resume, you have to. There is no exception. No exception. If you write something in a resume, adhere to that. If you can't adhere to that, delete it from your resume. As simple as that. Don't write something which you do not know. Even if you tell 10 correct questions or one question incorrect, just because you have written something on your resume, is not, you do not know, then obviously that's a big negative. Sometimes, for me, most of the times, it will be like rejection. You are not expected to know everything. This is a career guidance as well. So I'm just telling few things from my experience. You're not expected to know everything. No, you're not a robot, right? Limited knowledge, but quality knowledge is expected. Companies do not expect you to know everything because companies are there to train you. Okay, companies are there to train you. People, a lot of companies have these training programs. I won't talk about startups and everything, but again, most of the good companies have their own training programs. So we need confident people who know what they have written. Write 10 things. Do not write 1,000 things or 100 things. No, you have to be proficient in what you're writing. Okay, so when I say someone comes to me for a Python interview and they tell me that they don't know Python, but they know algorithms, that's a big no. Or if someone comes for a data science interview, they tell me I don't know data science, but I know Python. Again, that's a big no. You need to look at the profile you are being interviewed for. Okay. ML ops is actually similar to that. So when someone tells you about machine learning operations, or if you locate somewhere in the job responsibilities that Azure, Docker, Kubernetes, AKS, Google Cloud, anything of them is written, you have to prepare accordingly. You have to go through different certifications or courses. I'm sorry, but that's the truth these days. Nothing is easy. You have to continuously learn. Even we are learning. Okay, it's not easy even for the experienced professionals, because we keep on learning. It's an advantage for the youngsters or the people who are from college that they are still in that learning mode, because you only have to learn. But for us, it's very difficult because we have to work, learn, manage everything at the same time. That's quite difficult. So the earlier you learn, the better it is, because later on it will be very difficult alongside your work. Okay. Coming back to the MLOps, what are the components of machine learning operations? I'll go through a diagram. So if you'll see, first is the exploratory data analysis. When you say EDA, that is basically looking at the data. EDA does not mean cleaning the data only. It means exploring the data. When you explore the data, you know what is the insight. For example, if you are developing a model and you need to select the input variables, through EDA, you'll be able to know that what are my important input variables which I can use for my model training. Obviously, if there are 100 variables, obviously all 100 of them cannot be accommodated. Right? Out of 100, you need to see top 10%. Through EDA, you'll be able to find out those top 10%. Data preparation and feature engineering. Again, feature engineering is finding out those list of variables for which you need to do the training. Then doing the model training and tuning. Tuning means it's not easy to train a model. When you train a model, you get X output. But again, depending upon the kind of data you have, the amount of data you have, you need to do model training and tuning. Tuning means hyperparameter tuning. Most of the algorithm comes with multiple hyperparameters. So in order to do hyperparameter tunings, you have to go through those algorithms in detail. It's not that just you learn the theory, you have to run it mathematically, run different scenarios. Okay. Model review and governance. You review the model, you feed the test data, calculate the output. Okay. Now, if you see, this is Spark and everything is being written, model inference and so on. So you use different tools for deploying them into the production. Then model deployment and monitoring and automated model retraining. Automated model retraining is nowadays a function in which you keep retraining your model by feeding the input data constantly. Okay. So when you keep feeding the input data constantly into your model, you start getting an optimized model, but at the same time, you need to keep doing about the the tuning and hyperparameter tuning, and the monitoring. Okay, fine. So there's a term called DevOps as well. And what is the difference between MLOps and DevOps? MLOps is a set of engineering practices specific to machine learning projects that borrow from the more widely adopted DevOps principle in software engineering. Okay. So most of the MLOps comes from the DevOps only. So like I explained, you have a developer and an operations and a tester person who is doing both things at the time. Okay. While DevOps bring a rapid, continuously iterative approach, MLOps borrows the same principles to take machine learning models to production. In both cases, the outcome is higher software quality, faster patching and releases, and higher customer satisfaction. Okay. So again, DevOps is all about continuous integration, continuous deployment, CI/CD. In DevOps, you have pipelines. You do not have these Jupyter notebooks. In DevOps, you have repos. You do not have these hard disks of your computers where you take the data from. So you an entire cloud repository, like for example, GitHub or Git, you use the repository to develop your code, update your code. Obviously, when you're working or training, you do it on your system. But when you go into an organization, there are multiple people working on same piece of code. And the problem is one application may have more than 2 to 3 different languages, or even more than that. Let's say front end is developed using Java or Angular. Back end is developed using Python. And some things in back end are using some pieces of Java. So within one application, there are 3 different languages being used. Obviously, if 3 different languages are being used, you need people with different backgrounds. But everyone has to work in the same space because it's same application. So you use repositories like GitHub. Okay. So I'm not sure who are noting. If someone is noting, so keep noting of what keywords I'm speaking, like DevOps, Dockers, Kubernetes, pipelines, repository, GitHub. These all things are interrelated because whenever you will go into an organization, you will mostly see that these things are being used day-to-day basis. Let's say you use an application, Python web application, let's say Django. Okay, Django is a framework. And it's totally different to what you have learned. Okay, very less institutes will take you through Django. Most of the institutes will teach you basics about data. But very less will prepare you end-to-end. Okay, so you have to be an end-to-end person. Because if you explain someone an end-to-end process in an interview, there are 90% chances you will be selected, provided that person taking an interview has enough knowledge and he knows whom to take. Because a lot of time it happens that we are hiring for X from a Y candidate, and it's a normal process. Even I have given interviews where the even interviewer himself doesn't know what he needs. But we cannot do anything. That's it. Okay. But at the same time, we have to be sure that at least from our side, we give our best. Clearing or not clearing is altogether a different thing. It will happen sooner or later. Okay. One thing I have learned in my life is that if you work hard, no one can stop you. Yeah, success will come. Maybe it will come late, but it will come for sure. That I can write on piece of paper and sign it any time of the day. Success will always come if you keep working hard. Never ever compare yourself with others, because someone may give an interview and get selected for the very first time. They may get good remuneration as well, much better than you. But it's okay. Accept it. Not everyone is same, and not every scenario is same. Everyone has a different scenario. But you should be satisfied with your effort and performance. Okay. Packages will vary from person to person, but it's okay to accept it. As a human being, accept it. Because everyone can't be equal. If you're working in the same organization, hired as a fresher, everything would be different. But once you start gaining experiences, you'll see a lot of variations. Someone with, let's say, 5 years experience is getting X amount, but another one 3 years getting 2X amount. And people normally get frustrated. especially the ones who are at lower CTC or who are not able to crack interviews. In my career guidance interviews, I normally tell people that it's okay. You do not jump the ladder. Take it slow. Sooner or later, one day will come when you will get your own, I would say, own dues. Okay, the benefits of your efforts. But again, only one thing remains constant in this is your effort and hard work and patience and perseverance. Okay, that's it. Simple. So I think most of the things I have covered. I wanted to give you the MLOps, I would say, overview or a background. It is not a session. MLOps is a big thing to learn. But again, it is more for a overview that what MLOps will talk about. If you'll go on reading it, you can go on the detail. Okay. And if I will try to take any questions, if any, like if anyone has any questions, I have 8 minutes left. I'll take on the questions. If you don't have any questions, then we can disconnect as well.
Thank you, Aakash. Before proceeding on question answer round, I just request everyone, I'm just pasting a feedback form on the chat box. Please, everyone, it's compulsory for all of you to fill that feedback form so we can get an idea like what we have, take the learning from this session and what we are looking forward to the next sessions. So now, please have a look in the chat box. The feedback form is there and we're required to fill that. Now, whoever have any query, please raise your hand or put the query in the chat box so our expert can answer the queries. Yes, Hitler Mehra, you have any question, you can directly ask by unmuting yourself. Students, please ask the question. We have limited time on this session. So whoever have any question, any doubt regarding the session or regarding the course on that, the topic which we have covered, please ask.
And one genuine request, in most of the sessions, I'll tell people to please join by your usual names. Okay, don't join with funky names. It's a professional session. So especially when you are joining these kind of sessions, okay, try to join with your names. If you don't want to join, then don't use names which will sound funny, at least in professional networks. Okay, there are a lot of things like Instagram and WhatsApp for all these things. Okay.
Totally agree, Aakash, because since students, this is very on a serious note. Once you go for an interview and you make some kind of like fancy or tricky email IDs or names, so your impression will the same that you have made. So it represent your personality as well. So make it as you are. So be on the track. Yes, Smriti, please ask a question.
Hello, sir, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible. Yes, Smriti, tell me.
Actually, sir, for a fresher, for MLOps position, do we need any prior experience or like a fresher can apply? Or what are the basic roadmap for being to go to an MLOps or DevOps?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, that's a very good question, Smriti. Okay, fine. I'll try to answer this. Okay, so you yourself raised the doubt over this question. So, as a fresher, how much experience do we need in MLOps? Okay, again, obviously, if you are a fresher, I do not expect you having an experience in MLOps. As a good recruiter or a good interviewer, I do not expect you to have experience. Obviously, you're a fresher. But again, as you asked, what is the roadmap? See, I would personally recommend starting slowly. So roadmap should be somewhere from data analyst or data engineer, then going through data scientist and ML ops. ML ops is the last stage. Okay. As an ML ops engineer, you are expected to know everything from SQL to data analysis to data science and operations. Because ML ops actually requires the use of tools and technology, cloud. So when you go through cloud, things are already being, I would say, created for you. Like if you'll go to Azure cloud, there are things which are already created for you. So you do not have to write it yourself. But again, the things which are created, they are based upon a platform or a language or a code or a pattern. Let's say I created a repository in Azure. You are using a repository as an ML ops, but that repository is following a particular standard. But that standard, as a fresher, you are not expected to know. But if you are an experienced person, at least with 3 years of experience, who has seen day-to-day out operations, you will be able to figure out something. Okay. So as a fresher, start from simple jobs. See, you can get an ML ops job as a fresher, it's good. Okay. But at the same time, the amount of effort as a fresher you will need to adapt into that situation will be very high. Constant learning, very less, I would say, because people in those environments expect you to know everything. That's the bitter truth, but that's the truth. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Pratik. So, anyone else has any questions? If not, then I would say we can wind up for the day. And I would thank everyone for joining the session. Thank you, Rashmi, for hosting the session. And I'm sorry for being late. Yeah.
It's totally understood. And like we are again grateful for your like at the situation you are in, and you are doing this for all of us. Students, if you don't have any query and question, so I request please open your video so we can have a screenshot for a moment. Please, everyone, please open the videos. Aakash, I understood about you. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Please, everyone. Videos are always like you had in this discussion. Whatever experts was telling, so you understood or not. So that is the reason we ask everyone, please open the video. So I can see Rajvardhan, Shashank, Bhagrishri. Others, please also open the videos. So we are believe that there is no more questions from your end, any of the learners who are in this call. So we are good to go. And again, a note for the thank you to our expert. So it's again a privilege to have Aakash with us today. Thank you so much for your valuable time and guidance to the learners about practical knowledge on the machine learning and data analytics with the career aspects, what they have to do or they do not. So again, we are looking forward more session in the future. Students, this is for you that continue the sessions. Whoever is planned, join the session, and whichever course that you are enrolled, kindly complete the courses so that you can get the benefit from that. And also fill the feedback forms to our next sessions arrangement, that what we can do for the next ones. So now we are good to go. Wish you all the best, everyone. Thank you once again, Aakash. Thank you, team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.